Hey guys, today we're going to make an incredible zucchini or courgette dish. It's a fennel and smoked ricotta stuffed courgette flour with a chanterelle rouleaux, a vadouvan sauce and oil. On the side we serve a crispy fennel seed tartelette with a cevenne onion cream, vadouvan marinated courgette balls and fennel flowers. So, let's begin. We're going to start with the fennel seed tartelettes. Start by blending 10 grams of fennel seeds into a fine powder. Then pour 170 grams of flour in your worktop and use the bowl to make a well in the middle. Fill it with 60 grams of Pernod, 15 grams of egg yolk, 20 grams of olive oil, 10 grams of sugar, 3 grams of salt and the fennel seed powder. Mix all the ingredients together and then knead it into a nice ball of dough. Now let it rest in your fridge for at least 1 hour. A great way to speed up the process is to vacuum the dough. This will relax the gluten which have formed from the kneading, and after vacuuming it, you can use the dough straight away. Now dust some flour in your worktop and roll out the dough till it's around 2 to 3 mm thin. If needed, dust some more flour in between. Once you're happy with the thickness, cut it with a round cutter. The cutter needs to be slightly bigger than the tartelette mold. Then place the dough circles in the mold and press it well to get an even result. Cover the dough with another tartelette mold and then place them upside down on a tray. Now cover them with another tray and bake them at 160 degrees Celsius for around 30 minutes. You want a lovely golden brown color. After that, take them out of the oven and let them cool down for 5 minutes. Then take the molds off and stack the tartelettes. Now keep them dry and covered for later. Then the cevenne onion cream. Cut 8 cevenne onions in half and clean them. Now slice them in thin slices. Add a drizzle of oil to a hot pan and start glazing the onions with 4 grams of salt. Continue heating the onions on a medium-low heat till all have softened. Once completely softened, add 150 grams of cream and also add 30 grams of butter, 2 bay leaves and 15 grams of apple cider vinegar. Keep on heating till almost all the liquid has reduced. Then remove the bay leaves and transfer everything into a blender. Blend this till smooth. This takes a couple of minutes. Once smooth, add a knife tip of xanthan gum and blend it for another minute. The xanthan gum will prevent the cream from leaking once blended. Now transfer the cream into a piping bottle and keep it in your fridge for later. Then the marinated courgette balls. For this you need 1 yellow courgette and a green one. Cut both with a small Parisienne drill. You can also cut them into a nice dice, but I love the little ball shape. Then season some boiling water with a generous amount of salt and blanch the balls for around 30 seconds to a minute. Once blanched, directly cool them down in ice water. When blanching multiple colors of vegetables, always start with the light color and work your way to the dark color. So in this case, first the yellow and then the green. Now we're not throwing anything away, so trim the sides of the courgettes and then slice both in thin slices. Add a drizzle of oil to a hot frying pan and pan fry the slices on a medium heat. Add some salt for seasoning. Continue heating till almost all the moisture has evaporated. This will create a lovely intense flavor and a soft texture. Then transfer it into a bowl and keep it in your fridge for later. Now for the marinade, mix 10 grams of vadouvan spices with 200 grams of water and 2 grams of salt. Bring this to a simmer for 30 seconds. Then turn off the heat and let it cool down completely. Once it has cooled down, pass the liquid through a fine sieve. Now divide the marinade on both the yellow and the green courgette balls. Let it marinate in your fridge for a couple of hours or use a vacuum to properly marinate in a couple of minutes. I use my Henkelman Aura vacuum chamber, which has a great marination program. Henkelman is also a new partner of the channel. Keep the courgette balls in your fridge for later. Now for the smoked ricotta and fennel filling. First place some ricotta cheese on a tray and place the tray on a perforated container. Cover the container with a metal tray and seal the edges as tight as possible with plastic wrap. Then cover the bottom of a deep metal container with some hay and light it on fire with a blowtorch. Directly cover it with the perforated container and press it well to ensure the smoke stays inside the container. I always wrap it once more just to be sure. Then let the ricotta smoke for 1 hour. After that, remove the wrap and keep the ricotta in your fridge. Now take a fennel and trim the bottom. Then separate the layers. Take the layers and also trim the top and the thin sides. Keep your trimmings. I'm not using them for this dish, but I always save them up for a lovely broth. Now cut the fennel layers in thin slices and cut those slices in small cubes. Then cut a shallot in half and clean it. Now finely chop it. Then drizzle some oil in a pan and glaze the shallot with 3 grams of salt. Only soften and not color the shallot. Now add the fennel with 15 grams of Pernod, 100 grams of vegetable broth and a bay leaf. Cover the pan with a parchment paper cartouche. This will slow down the vaporizing and give the fennel more time to properly cook. Once cooked, remove the paper and the bay leaf. You still want some texture, so keep on tasting in between. Then spread the fennel on a tray and let it cool down in your fridge. Now measure 200 grams of the smoked ricotta and also add 200 grams of the cooked fennel. Season it with salt and black pepper. Then mix it well and transfer it into a piping bag. Once the filling is done, take some courgette flowers and trim the bottom with a thin sharp knife. The bottom is quite tough and bitter, that's why I remove it. Now also remove the pistil. Then season some water and blanch the flowers for 30 seconds. Do this on a soft simmer to protect the texture. Now cool them down in ice water. Once cold, gently open up the flour. This is going to take some practice, but it's very important that the flour does not tear. Then fill it with the ricotta and fennel filling. Now cover the filling with the flower petals and then keep them covered in your fridge for later. Then the chanterelle and courgette roulleaux. Wash 200 grams of chanterelle mushrooms in salted lukewarm water. Refresh the water till no more dirt, bugs or sand comes off. Now place them on a kitchen towel and let them dry for 30 minutes. Then transfer them on your cutting board and chop them into a nice fine tartare. I always prefer to do this by hand. In a food processor it tends to become quite mushy. Now melt 30 grams of butter and add the chopped chanterelles with 2 grams of salt and the leaves from 3 sprigs of thyme. Pan fry this for another 5 minutes to create a nice color. Once you're happy with the color, deglaze the pan with 20 grams of white wine vinegar and then add it to the pan fried courgette we made before. Then trim the bottom of a yellow and green courgette and portion them to 4 even pieces. Cut those pieces in 4. Now cut the seeds off and trim the first half centimeter. The seeds you can keep for the next time you make the pan fried reduction. Cut the portioned courgette in thin slices on a sharp mandolin. The slices need to be around 1 to 2 millimeters thin. Save the trimmings for later. Then lay some plastic foil on an oven tray and lay the slices, slice by slice, on there. First the green, then the yellow, and so on. This is going to be the outside of the roll, so be sure it's nice and tight. Now steam the slices at 100 degrees Celsius for a minute. If you don't have a steamer, just blanch the slices first and then lay them on the foil. Cool them down after steaming. Meanwhile, take the courgette trimmings and slice the white meat off. Then cut them in a thin julienne and cut those in small cubes, also known as brunoise. Blanch the brunoise in salted water for 30 seconds. Now cool it down in ice water for 2 minutes and then add it to the courgette and chanterelle. Mix it well and give it a final taste for seasoning. Now transfer it into a piping bag. Then use some plastic wrap to cover your worktop and turn the steamed slices around on the wrap. Gently press it down and remove the foil. Once you're happy with the base, divide the chanterelle filling on the slices. Then gently roll the courgette in a tight rouleau. Roll it as tight as possible and press out any air. Now roll it up all the way and use the sides to roll it even tighter. Then make a knot on both sides and trim it. Let it set in your freezer for at least 30 minutes. This will make portioning a lot easier. After that, portion the rouleau to the desired size and gently press them out of the foil. Lay them with the least pretty side down and keep them covered in your fridge for later. Now for the vadouvan sauce. First melt 40 grams of butter on a medium heat. Then also add 30 grams of fresh vadouvan spices or 6 grams of dried vadouvan powder. Turn down the heat and let it infuse. Meanwhile, cut 4 shallots in half and clean them. Now slice them in thin slices. Add the shallot to the vadouvan butter. Then clean 2 cloves of garlic and slice them as well. Also add it to the pan and glaze the shallots and the garlic on a medium-low heat. You only want to soften them, so no color. Then add 250 grams of white port and let it reduce till almost all the port has evaporated. After that, add 500 grams of vegetable broth with 500 grams of cream and 1 bay leaf. Let it simmer till it has reduced for around 30%. Then pass the sauce through a fine sieve and use a ladle or spatula to speed up the process. Now emulsify it with a hand blender to thicken the texture and with that improve the flavor. Give it a final taste of seasoning and then keep it in your fridge for later. Now the vadouvan oil. Pour 300 grams of a neutral oil in a pan. I use sunflower oil. Then heat up the temperature till it's 40 degrees Celsius. Once it has the right temperature, add 75 grams of fresh vadouvan spices and mix it well. Then turn down the heat to a minimum and let it infuse for 3 hours. You'll end up with a beautiful fragrant oil. Now pass it through a superfine sieve or a kitchen paper to clarify it. I always leave it overnight to ensure nothing is wasted. Keep it covered in your fridge for later. Now let's make the pairing. First the onion vadouvan broth. Cut 6 onions in half and clean them. Then slice 4 of the onions in thin slices. Add a drizzle of oil in a pan and caramelize the onions with 3 grams of salt. Do this on a medium-high heat. Meanwhile, cut the remaining 2 onions in 6 and lay them on an upside down tray or pan. Toast the onions with a blowtorch to give them a nice smoky flavor. You can also do this on a barbecue. Then cut a celeriac in half and clean one of the halves by cutting off the peel. Now cut it in big cubes. Once the onion has a nice color and caramelization, deglaze the pan with 250 grams of Madeira wine and also add 2 liters of water, the toasted onion, the celeriac, 8 black peppercorns, 12 coriander seeds and 3 sprigs of thyme. Then turn down the heat and let the broth simmer for at least 6 hours. After that, pass the broth through a fine sieve and let it drain for at least 30 minutes so you don't waste a single drop. Then bring it to a simmer once more and use a ladle to remove any oil that's floating on top. Once that's done, add 10 grams of fresh vadouvan and turn off the heat. Let it infuse till the broth has cooled down completely. Now pass it through a fine sieve once more and keep it in your fridge for later. Then the fig leaf oil. Start by removing the core from some fig leaves. You need 90 grams of cleaned leaves. Now transfer it into a blender and also add 450 grams of a neutral oil. I use sunflower oil. Then blend it till the temperature of the oil is 65 degrees Celsius. It will heat up from the friction. After that, pour it on a superfine sieve or a sieve that's lined with a kitchen paper and let it drain in your fridge. We do this to cool down the oil and preserve the beautiful vibrant green color. You can keep the oil in your fridge for a couple of days and in your freezer for months. Okay, the prep is finished, which means we can finish the dish. For that, first we need to heat up some things. First, we're going to heat up the cream. The cream we can heat up in a heat roll, in a sous vide bath or even in the oven, as long as it's on a low temperature. Make sure it's around 60 degrees, maybe 65 degrees, and just leave it in for at least 20 minutes. The same goes for the courgette flour and for the courgette roll or the zucchini, courgette zucchini, yeah, whatever. Just leave it in. I'm gonna leave it in at the heat roll or in the oven, so not in a sous vide this time, obviously. But leave it in the heat roll at also 60 degrees for around 20 minutes. You could heat it up in a steam oven as well, but that is gonna affect the cookedness of the vegetables. So the outside is gonna be a little bit overcooked then. I just wanna heat it up. I don't wanna cook it anymore. So sauce we can heat up on the induction, and for the tartelette and the courgette balls and the oil, we're just gonna serve it at room temperature. So let's do that. Once you have reheated all the components, pipe the cevenne onion cream on the bottom of the tartelette. Now take the courgette balls out of the marinade and place them on the cream. I alternated the colors for a beautiful design. This will match great with the rouleaux. Then decorate the top with some fennel flowers. Now we can start to finish the main dish. First, glaze the hot rouleaux with the vadouvan oil. Then take the hot sauce and use it to glaze the filled courgette flowers. Also season both with some flaky salt. Now gently place a rouleau and a flower on a plate. Then take the sauce and use a hand blender to foam it up. Pour it into a saucier and serve it together with the main dish, the tartelette and the vadouvan oil. Okay guys, that's it for today. I'm incredibly happy. I mean, like always, but this time, I mean, the colors presentation wise is really 10 out of 10. Beautiful, vibrant green and yellow. Flavor wise, I already tried it a couple of times and it is spot on. But first, let's finish it, because I would present it like this and then serve it table side with the sauce and the oil, because otherwise it's gonna look a little bit messy when you walk the dish to the table. What you could do is pipe a little bit of the cream around the rouleau, the roll, and the stuffed zucchini flour, then pour the sauce in, but I do that quite a lot, so I just wanted to show that this is also possible. So first let's finish it with the sauce, and then also that delicious vadouvan oil. So, I mean, it's looking even better now, and it only means one thing. Let's dig in. So yeah, it's really a lovely flavor with such a beautiful texture. I love the mushrooms, the chanterelles with the fennel and the smoked ricotta. Really beautiful flavors. Now, when it comes to the tartelette, and it has been sitting for quite a while, but I mean, that's spot on, guys. Yeah, again, such a beautiful flavor and texture. The fennel seed in the tartelette really brings that aromatic. And then the cevenne onion cream with the marinated courgette or zucchini balls. Spot on, guys. It's been sitting there for quite a while already, but it is still crispy, so the recipe really works super well. Okay, little sidetrack. Pause for a bit, because I totally forgot about the pairing. I'm so used to just creating the dish that I totally forgot to serve it as well. Well, what we have here is the beautiful onion broth. I just heat it up, pour it in, a little couple drops of the delicious fig leaf oil, and then it's ready to serve. Come on, guys. That's perfect. And I tasted it with the dish as well. It pairs perfectly. If you want an alcohol-free something else instead of a mocktail or another glass of wine, this is going to be so cool, and your guests are going to love it. Now, back to the dish. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Like and share the video, and be sure to subscribe if you want to support my channel, and if you don't want to miss any other great recipes. I know there's a new feature on YouTube as well, where you can give like a shout out or a thumbs up, something like that, a push button. If you press that, then you push my channel as well. So please do, and thanks for the support. And as always, bon appetit.